So tonight's lesson is lesson 73, which is adding and subtracting decimal numbers. If you remember, when we add or subtract money, we write the numbers so that the decimal points are always aligned. This way we are sure to add the digits with the same place value. And this is the same no matter if we're adding normal decimals or dollars, or we're dealing with money. We always, if we are adding and subtracting, have to line up the decimal points. So I give you the first one, $3.45, and then the second one, $1.25, and we're adding them. So go ahead, just kind of as a refresher, add these two numbers together. Now we want to line them up vertically, so go ahead and do that. So before I even start, I might just even write my two decimal points. And then I have my $3.45 and my $1.25. Okay, and I'm adding, make sure you remember, 5 plus 5, 10, 4, 5, 6, 7. Bring down my decimal point, 3, 4. And don't forget my label, dollar signs. So $4.70. Always. Your answer, your decimal point is going to be in the same spot when you're adding and subtracting, so just bring down that decimal point. Alright, go ahead and try the first example. It says find the perimeter of the triangle. Here we have 4.3 centimeters, 7.6 centimeters, and 12.5 centimeters. Alright, so I'm going to, when you find the perimeter, we kind of talked about this yesterday, the perimeter is the outside of the shape, and we want to find the perimeter of the entire triangle. So I'm going to, I'm dealing with three different numbers, so I'm going to go ahead and write my three different decimal points, and I'm adding, because I want to find the perimeter, this side plus this side plus this side. I'm going to go ahead and put my decimal point in my answer. So 4.3, 7.6, and 12.5. Or these are all tenths. We're dealing with tenths. So go ahead and try and add them up by yourself. When you're done, you should get 24.4 centimeters. And like we talked about today in class, it's not square centimeters. Square centimeters is when we are dealing with area. Since this is perimeter, we're just dealing with the outside of a shape, so our unit is just going to be centimeters. Alright, and the next one. The roof was 6 37 meters above the ground, and the ladder could only reach up 4.2 or 4 2/10 meters. The roof was how much higher than the ladder could reach? See if you can figure out what the problem is going to look like when we write it down. Alright, so we're going to be doing a subtraction problem here. So the roof is all the way up here and our ladder can reach only this high. So we want to know what's the difference. How much higher was that roof from that ladder? So I'm going to take my 6 37 minus my 4 2/10. Now notice I didn't line up my numbers with my 2 with my 7 and my 4 and my 3 and then have a 0 here. You have to make sure that you lined up your decimal points. That's the number one thing. And like we've talked about many times, I can add as many zeros as I want going to the right of the decimal point because I'm just saying I have 0 hundredths. I have 0 thousandths. So I'm going to go ahead and write a 0 right here just to make my numbers even and match up. And I'm going to go ahead and do my decimal point in my answer, so I already have it there. Go ahead and do this typical subtraction problem by yourself. Alright, 7 minus 0, 7. 3 minus 2, 1. 6 minus 4, 2. Do not forget your labels. It was meters. 2.17 or 1700ths of a meter. Alright, and the next one. 3 45/100ths of a mile plus 6 7/10ths of a mile equals what? So go ahead like we did before. Remember, the main point is to line up your decimal point. Alright, here we go. And I'm adding, so I'm going to put 3 45/100ths, decimal point, 6 7/10ths. I'm going to go ahead and add a 0 just so I have an even. 5 plus 0, 5. 7 plus 4, 11. Decimal point, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Don't forget your unit, miles. 10 15/100ths of a mile. Alright, and go ahead and try the next one. So we have 14 63/100ths of and then we have 8 minus 71/100ths. Go ahead, set it up, and try the problem yourself. Okay, so I'm going to put 14 63/100ths minus 8 71/100ths. So, first things first. 3 minus 1, 2. I'm going to go ahead and put my decimal point down here. 6 minus 7, I can't do that, so I'm going to borrow. Make this a 3 and this a 16. And then 16 minus 7, 9. 3 minus 8, can't do that. Make that a 13. And then this a 5. Don't forget my unit, feet. And here's your lesson practice at the bottom. Remember, the main point is really just to make sure we line up our decimals, and then we can add our zeros to the anytime it's to the right of the decimal point, because we're basically saying we have 0/10ths or 0/100ths in that column, but it helps us to even out our numbers when we're adding and subtracting. So if you can see the numbers right there, go ahead and do your lesson practice.